the best gift you can give yourself is to start, see what works, iterate, and learn because you're going to change it anyway. Start simple and go from there. You will thank yourself in a year because it's going to be awesome.
I'm excited to welcome Jane up to the stage, who you've already met today. And Jane is about to come in and talk about successful communities. So 4 principles of community success. She's going to walk you through the core principles that drive successful communities on Mighty. And Jane, I'm pumped about
I'm
this
ready.
session and pumped for you to kind of tie the boat together today and everything that we've talked about.
I'm going to normally come on here and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to follow so and so. No, I'm the closer, folks, because you are going to leave. This is going to be the most valuable session yet. And I feel confident in that. I'm bringing the confidence today, if that works for you, Darrell.
I love it, Jane. Well, I'll leave you to it, and I will be back at the end to do a little bit of Q&A with you.
Okay, great. All right. I'm going to pull up my slides. The back house will bring them up. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you again. I am excited. And that is my goal. My goal is that this is the most useful, practical session for you to kind of end the day. And so you can tell me if I deliver. And I think this is going to be useful even if you've been on Mighty, if you've been building community for a long time. But again, you tell me. But I think even if you've been in it to win it, if you're like Angela, if you're like Kelly in the chat and you've got something going, I don't think it ever hurts to come back to these principles. So I'm stoked. Is anybody else feeling like, shoot, I want to do this, but I'm scared in a couple months, this is going to be me. This is going to be me. I'm throwing a party and no one's going to come and have fun. Like, are you feeling that? Because sometimes you launch and you feel this like, oh my gosh, I did it. I took the first step, but now I got to like keep it going. How do I host this party? How do I become a host? And we hear this from people for sure. Yeah. Mona says, Shantae, Priyal, QC. Okay. Deep breath. Deep breath. This is what we're going to cover today is how to skip this step where you're coming to me and saying these things. Why should you care about what I have to say? I mean, yes, I'm like fun. I'm in the chat with you, but really, what do I know? Well, turns out I know a few things. So I've been at Mighty for about 5 years. I run a lot of workshops. I get hands-on in communities. I love nothing more than going into a community one-on-one and saying, "Oh my gosh, I see 5 ways you could be better, and I see 5 things you are doing awesomely. Keeps going." I live for that. I can't do it for everybody, which is why I do a lot of these events and workshops and summits because I just love to share what I see as working. And I also love weird and wild communities. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, how do I bring people together around this? My transition is so niche and weird. I've seen it all. Embrace what makes your stuff unique. You will go farther. One of my favorite examples that I love to bring up is a community for bird aromatherapists. Incredible. If you're here today, bird aromatherapy, please, like, we want to give you a shout out. And Trudy says, I could use your expertise. I feel so overwhelmed and you have such clarity. Trudy, you will have clarity by the end of this session. Okay? Okay, let's go. And it's 4 principles. This is not a checklist of 50,000 things. And most of the principles are don't do that thing you think you have to do. That's a little spoiler. So what are we going to do today? We're going to get grounded in the basics. I took you through these with Tom, okay? But I'm going to do it again. If you missed that session, if I went a little too fast there, it is going to come through in this session again. I'm going to teach you 2 principles for setting up your Mighty Network and your community, the structure, and 2 principles for engagement. And we're going to have time for questions. Sound good? Sound good. All right, so back to basics. I'm going to go slow. Some of you have seen this before, but do we ever mind looking at beautiful communities? No, we don't. I never get tired of it. A mighty network is made out of spaces. They're your building blocks. They can hold your features and your people. It is the playground in which people share their ideas, experiences, their stories. So when you create a mighty network, one of the first decisions you have to make is, okay, what spaces do I want to have? And I'm going to give you the cheat sheet to success. What kind of features could you put in a space? Well, if you recall, we got a feed. We got a feed. Super familiar if you're moving from Facebook, which I know a lot of you are. You can have photos, you can have videos, polls and questions. I love polls and questions. I'll talk about them a little bit later. You can even have this like pinned content here on the side. A chat, a chat. Someone was asking earlier, okay, well, how do I use a chat? A little bit of a spoiler for later in the session, but you really do not have to have both a chat and a feed. And in fact, I would encourage you to pick one to start. And if you are hesitant, pick a feed. You can have a chat. Maybe you're moving over from Slack or Discord and members are used to having that chat experience. By all means, start there. But otherwise, it's something you can add on. Events, bringing people together. Look at how much fun we're having today. I may have been having so much fun in the chat that I forgot to do some actual work, but it's okay. It's okay. Gina will let it slide. But we're having fun today. We're all here together. We're experiencing the same content. We're talking about it. There's ideas flying fast and furious. Events are a great way to spark people magic. So you can host your events. Someone was asking, how do you mix a mighty network with in-person stuff like workouts, runs, hikes, in-person parties? Can totally do it here. You just put your event up. You give the address, can be local, and people can go to it. So it's a way to kind of spread the word about the event and they can RSVP. And the best part is when you're not then together in real life after the event, you still have a place to gather. You can have a course. You can have a course. So with our offer, you're starting on the community plan. You're not going to have access to this feature, but I still want to show it to you because one, it's beautiful. And two, this is a great thing to layer on, as you grow. Host your content here, host your course here. This can be used as like a resource library. If you are in the workout space, I've seen this used as like a beautiful workout catalog. And it can also be used for other stuff. It doesn't have to be videos, could be PDFs, other sorts of files. And then you can have, in a space, you can have a page. A page is just what it sounds like. It's a web page. We often show you an example like this one of a welcome page, but you could totally use it just to tell people about anything. Maybe you are doing an event with sponsors. We had Justin Moore here a couple days ago talking about how to get sponsorships, and you want to have a page that just shouts out your sponsors. Can put videos, can embed audio. You can do a lot on a page. It's a beautiful container for you to tell your members about something. And in any of those spaces in your network, you can go live. Have a beautiful chat going. Again, all the fun. You're sharing something. You can actually have up to 9 people on the screen. I call that the full Brady Bunch. Showing my age, but some of you in the chat got that. So you can have up to 9 people on the screen, and then you can have many more in the chat, yucking it up alongside. Someone here is asking about Zoom as well. You can also use Zoom. So if you want to have many more than 9 people on the screen, or you want to have something where, people are sharing through Zoom, you can integrate that with a Mighty Network too. Totally up to you. Okay. One of the things that makes Mighty so special is the ability to have multiple features in a space. Remember, we built this so you can start simply. That's going to be our focus here today. and then layer in more experiences as you grow. So start simple, and then you can layer in more features in a space like right here where there's a chat and then recipe ideas. The most common by far use case for multiple features in a space is when you want to have content like a course, the course community right next to it. And maybe for a third thing, you want to have events because you're going to teach the course live, put the replay in the course tab, and then in the feed or chat, people are going to be discussing the material. So, a cohort based course where a bunch of people are going through the material at the same time is a really common use case to have contained in one space. Why do we allow you to do that? Because then your members are going into one focused experience. They're all there together. They know what they're doing. They're not having to jump around into different spots of your mighty network. So, spaces hold features. I showed you a few of them. There's a couple more. Then you can have multiple features in a space if you want. And then there are these global features that roll up everything in your mighty network. You can think of them like an aggregator. It's a big word. It's an SAT word. So, one of the best ways to use global features, which is why when you start a Mighty Network today, this baby is default on, is global members because your Mighty Network is about people. So, you want people to see these are all the people in my Mighty Network, and then they can click around and explore. Tom showed you some great animation of this. Who's in here? What are they about? What do I have in common with them? It's hard to bring that across when I'm doing this one-to-many teaching, but I always like to say it because every single member in your network is gonna have an individual personalized experience as they're clicking through your People Explorer, because I could click on someone and be like, "Oh my gosh, I have this in common with them." And then Victoria could click on the same person, and guess what? She has a totally different set of things in common with that person. So the People Explorer, I mean, looks beautiful, first of all, like aesthetically pleasing. I think we can all agree. But then also gives that level of personal people magic to all of your members. So if you turn on a global feature, this is the one to have on at the start. The others are more when you have multiple things, programs going on, which you will see when we get to the principles, is not something you need to do right out of the gate. Right out of the gate. And this is great. I see some people in the chat talking about how they're in a few different Mighty networks. Like Marie Forleo has her programs on Mighty, and hers is beautifully set up. So if you're in there, definitely a great one to look at for inspiration. So you can build your Mighty network, which you're going to do with us in the challenge after this summit. You can brand it, can look beautiful. We have guides to help you do that. We have templates. You can fill it with awesome people because you just learned how to flip the funnel with Topper and Christy. And you're going to charge for it. Tom went over a lot of the innovations and advancements we're making around payments. The checkout flow is one I'm very excited for. This is just kind of an overview of a few of the things we got going on, like promo codes. You know, point of order. We call them promo codes, but there was a heated debate. Promo codes, discount codes, coupon codes. So you let me I like promo codes. You let me know if we landed in the right place. But if you want to offer people a special discount off, you can use one of those. You can have installments. I put this in the chat during Tom's presentation, but installments really changed the game for folks doing high ticket because of that added flexibility. So definitely a winner there in our data. And they can also have those custom intervals that Tom talked about as well. This is a great question from Christy. I'll pause here. Do most hosts charge for network access or for individual spaces? Well, you have a lot of flexibility, Christy. You have a lot of flexibility. There are probably in as many permutations as you can think about of how you could set it up exist and are thriving out there. I would encourage everybody in this room who's just starting out to keep it simple and offer one paid experience, probably just the membership to start. We talk in a lot of our teaching about the complexity traps where people are like, well, I need to have 4 tiers. Of course, because that's what I see out there. You don't need to have that to start. You do not need to have that to start. Okay. You know how to do it all, right? I've been through the building blocks. You will have a replay, you will have a refresher. And again, Maya in our challenge is going to help walk you through this. And I hope all of our existing hosts here will echo me when I say we have a lot of resources and offer a lot of help to keep you moving forward on the build. And this, I think, is going to help even more. Anybody here familiar with a little real hip reference of a book called Anna Karenina? I don't know. Maybe you are. This is a very famous quote. Happy families are all alike. Every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. This quote inspired me, and I'd like to offer a different take. Unhappy communities are all alike. Every happy community is happy in its own way. Here's why I'm starting with this paraphrase, bastardization, I don't know, is because, again, I've seen it all. I've seen the weird, wild, and wonderful. And there are probably some hosts here who are going to look at the 4 principles I share and they're going to say, oh my gosh, I'm doing everything wrong. No. If it's working for you, if your members are happy, if you're happy, if it feels like it's humming along, you're happy. You don't need to change things. I think there's another very famous expression. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Maybe I'll give you some ideas, but if you are sitting there and you're thinking it's not going like I wanted, I don't have the engagement I want to see. I feel like I'm on this hamster wheel, then you're going to want to perk up and listen and think about these principles and how you could apply them. So that's my way of saying if you're breaking all my principles, it's not a personal attack. Okay. If it's working for you, it's working. If it's not working for you, listen up. All right. So we're going to talk about 4 principles, 2 for your setup, 2 for your setup before those members come rolling in, 2 for when the members are there and you want to keep the party going. Got it? Good. We've been through that. All right. Principle number 1. Give your members fewer places to go for a richer experience. Fewer places for a richer experience. You want to funnel engagement into as few places as possible. Here's what this means in practice. Do not have dozens of topic-based discussions. So I see this all the time, and I think it comes from the content world. Because when I think about content, when I think about a ton of resources, where does my head go? It goes to, I better organize them. Y'all, I went to library school. At one point, I knew the Dewey Decimal System. Like, I knew it. I get it. When you have a lot of content, your first thought is, okay, I need to have it organized or people are not going to find what they need. But imagine hosting a party, right? This is the metaphor of the day. You're hosting a party and somebody comes in, you're like, okay, you're in this room. Somebody else comes in, you're like, okay, you're going to that room because that's what you want to talk about. No, you want to have them in the same room to party together. So you do not want to set up your mighty network like a library. If you got content, we got this amazing new groundbreaking technology called search. Okay. And it's going to get even better actually on our roadmap. It's search. People are going to be able to find what they need content wise. You want to have those members bumping into each other, not like a library. Libraries, famously, they're very quiet, very quiet. I don't think quiet is anybody's goal here. If it is, if quiet is a goal, You let me know. Angela has a great point. Well, not only do you have search, we also have hashtags. So if you remember that community feed I showed you, on the side, hashtags. Content can be organized. Somebody could say, "Ooh, I want to look at that stuff." The feed will change to show them that stuff. So do not set up your mighty network thinking, I have to make it organized. Think about funneling those people into as few spaces and features as possible. Then you're like, okay, great. So I'm going to give people a feed and a chat to talk. Because maybe some people want to post in the feed and maybe some people want to be in the chat. Don't give people the choice because they're not going to know. They are not going to know, should I post this in the feed or should I post this in the chat? And any hesitation they have around, well, I don't know where to put this. Like, if you think about it, they don't want to do the wrong thing in your community, right? They want to show up. You want to make it easy for them to have complete confidence about where they should go. Similarly, putting that feed and that chat right next to each other. If it was scary before, now they're like, oh my gosh, what choice do I make? And I'm going to illustrate this a little bit in the next couple slides, right? Because you really do not want a member have to show up and have to think at all about where to post and contribute. Do not have them think at all about where to post and contribute. So here is a left-hand navigation of a community. And again, this is something I see all the time, and I get it. It feels reasonable, right? And it's pretty easy to create spaces, and it's fun. So you're like, ooh, okay, I'm going to have my main feed. Then if people want to do casual stuff, I'm going to have a casual chat. Got to have a place where they post their introductions. Has anybody been in a Slack community where there is an introductions channel? Has anyone been in one of those? I've been in a few. It bums me out, man, because it's just introductions after introductions and no one is connecting with each other, right? So I'm gonna have my introductions feed. And then look, my communities for creators. I want to have a place for the IG creators. I want to have a place for the YouTube creators. I want to have a place where we can talk about sponsorships, right? And you just start to go. And again, this isn't an insane amount of spaces, right? It is not an insane amount of spaces. But think about the difference between this and this. Hey, welcome to our community. Here's where we talk about stuff. Introduce yourself. Post a picture of your pet, of your view from your desk. And we got some awesome events. Which setup do you think is actually going to get more engagement? This one or this one? Which setup do you think is more work for you as the host? This one or this one? Right? Funnel engagement. Get them going. And some of you are like, "Oh my gosh, okay, I gotta go like shut down 50 of my spaces." No, if it's working for you, it's working. But it is always a good time to audit and look and see what can I reduce so that maybe that those 2 people who are posting in this space that was kind of dead are now in the party with the rest of us. I love the party metaphor because it just works so beautifully. Ever been at a party and you see 2 people standing off by themselves looking kinda sad in their conversation? You're like, "Dudes, we're in the game room. Come on." That's what you could do. And if it's working for you, great. I do have one interesting nugget from a host who's very successful, and if you look at their network, they have a ton of spaces. And I was like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, you have so many. How is this working for you?" She only adds topic-based spaces when her members come to her and are like, "Please, we gotta have a place to talk about this. We have so much to say." And you will never go wrong in listening to that feedback from your members around how to guide your structure. The most important thing is just not to start there because you may be making assumptions about people want or need that just are not true. Okay, I'm seeing some great stuff in the chat. I'm gonna quiz you later. Yes? Yes? Yes, okay. Here's another one on the point of chat and feed, all right? So maybe I'm like, okay, I'm only gonna have my main discussion place, the community hang, and I'm gonna have my feed post, and I'm going to have my chat. Well, look, somebody, it's me, but you get it. Somebody posted in the feed. They're like, "Hey, are there any cool events happening in beautiful, wonderful Halifax, Nova Scotia?" That's where I am. But then Jane Smith goes in the chat and she's like, "Hey, I'm going to this event in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Anyone else?" These two people need to meet. This people magic needs to happen. And what's that? Ships in the night. Ships in the night, folks. Ships in the night. Neither of them did anything wrong. They're posting, they're contributing, but they are not going to get rewarded because of how I have structured this space. But look at this. Hey, does anyone know about any great events happening? Yes, I'm going to one. Let's have coffee. Super, super simple. And what's best is the simplest approach is the most effective. The simplest approach is the most effective. Okay. Principle number 1, principle number 2, they are related. Clarity is more important than completeness. Clarity is more important than completeness. What do I mean by that? I mean, we have given you, I think this is true, some pretty incredible tools with some pretty incredible flexibility. You can do a lot. And many of you, many hosts I have seen get super excited about doing a lot and they want to do everything right away. I want to use this product to the max to design the best experience for people. Using it to the max is not actually the point. The point is to launch simply, learn, and turn on things as you need them. One of my favorite movies. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you got to do it right out of the gates. And hopefully, this feels freeing to some of you who were looking at all our presentations and being like, oh my gosh, it's overwhelmed. I got to turn all this stuff on. Got to start simple. So, what does this mean in practice? Don't put things everywhere until you need to. And I'll have another illustration for this point. Don't have to use global features until you have multiple feeds or events. Don't have to use them. Keep them off. There's a reason why when you start a Mighty Network, the only one we have on is your members. Speaking of, you can have a members tab in every space, right? It is a feature you can turn on in a space. You don't need to if everybody in your community is in every space. Where that gets really powerful is if you, again, have that cohort. So look, I got 100 people in my community, and then I have like 20 people who are doing this mastermind together, or they're doing this course together, or they're getting certified. And I want to make sure they have this special little space to connect and they see everybody who's in this group. That's when you can use that. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I'm telling you what I would suggest. And then using the discovery feature until you have things to curate. Until you have things to curate. This, again, I think comes from a content mindset. A content mindset, because you're like, I want to curate everything in my community and show off all my content. The curation for your community is the people explorer. It's not about your content. It is about the people in your community. And there is no better curation than every single person being able to browse the community, click on somebody, and see, oh my gosh, this is who I have in common. And so if you think about that setup I showed you before with the global members on, I'm just getting started. I got a couple members. Should I turn on discovery? This is what it's going to look like. Because I'm starting with people first, right? I'm bringing in people. Even if I have 10 members, there's like not enough happening here that I need to curate it in a way that would be more compelling than the people explorer. So this principle, clarity is more important than completeness, is all about starting simple and turning things on as you need them. All right. That's your setup. It's pretty simple. We're going to go over it again in the challenge. You're going to be in great hands. Now let's talk about engagement. I've set it up beautifully. Jane, I'm ready. I even have my first 30 members in. I'm good. I can lean back. I built it. They're here. We're done. No, my friends. Flame for emphasis. Okay. And you need to bother your ideal member. Your ideal member, in fact, wants you to bother them. The number of hosts I have met with who say, Jane, you don't understand. Okay. My ideal member, my big purpose, it's going to set the world on fire. We are changing lives. And they believe it. And it's true. I'm like, well, yeah, you are changing lives. And then I'm like, have you like notified your members about this stuff in the community? Whoa, whoa. I don't want to bug my members. I don't want to bother my members. They're busy. They are busy. I can't possibly send them a push notification. I get push notifications from my coffee cup, you guys. Okay. And that is valuable to me. Your ideal member wants you to bother them. They want you to bother them. You want to ask them questions. You want to cajole them. Hey, we've been doing these events. You have not shown up. Like, what's going on? You were so fired up about our big purpose. Love them. Oh my gosh, Young, you're doing awesome. I'm so happy you're here. I can't believe that win you posted. Hype them up. Gina mentioned it. Tom talked a little bit about it. We're building tools that are going to help you do this, right? That are going to help you hype people up. But you should also embody that. You are a toddler and they are your mom. Some folks at Mighty didn't get this analogy, but as the mom of a toddler, I feel this one deeply, so I had to include it. You are the toddler and they are your mom. Bother your ideal member. What does that mean in practice? Notify all the time. When you have a Mighty network, when you post something, whether that's a new event, a poll or question, new course material, we give you the option. Hey, do you want to let everybody know about this? Say yes. Say yes. There are valid reasons that we make it a choice. But if I had my druthers, I don't know what druthers are, I would make it default. Notify all the time. It's valuable stuff. Use polls and questions. Darrell mentioned a party where somebody stands up and talks the whole time. Nobody wants to go to that. But imagine a party where someone is like, hey, what's the best concert you've ever been to? Tell me about it. And you go around the room. That's a great question. You are going to have more connections from that than from posting an article and being like, what do you guys think about this? Nobody talks like that. Explain the things in your community. Explain the things in your community, right? So if you have badges that people can earn, throw up a page, throw up a post in the feed to say, hey, these are the badges we have. These are how you get them. It's awesome. If you have an event, throw up an article, throw up a page, say, this is the event we have every week. Here's what we do together. Here's why it's awesome. Explain it to them. It is a foreign country. Give them an explanation, give them some signage of what is going on in there. Go live just because. We have a habit of doing this in our community of going live when we launch a new feature, just sporadically, spontaneously. It is so fun. It is so fun. You get a few people. It's great. Not every live needs to be like a super fancy planned out production. It's just about popping in, saying hi, surprising, and delighting. And then principle number 2, or principle number 2 for engagement, principle number 4, all in, is about adding in the fun, creative, magical touches. So you have set up your Mighty network. It is simple. It is clear. You have what you need, not more. And you are bothering, said with love, your ideal member. Now it's adding in the fun, creative, magical touches. And that means designing for delight, not just direction. So what I mean by that is we totally get in our heads around, okay, I need to like have everything organized. I need to have this pathway for my member to follow. What's their onboarding journey? How do they know what to do? What are the rules they need to know? If any of you is a Virgo out there, I'm talking to you. I'm putting you on blast, right? And that stuff can be really important. Now, we wanna do a lot of the work at Mighty of making it that you don't have to spend a ton of time on, like, the mechanics of things. Our welcome checklist is a great example of that. But we also want you to have room to bring your personality and your members' personality to the party, and that's designing for delight, not just direction. I like to think of this as a trail of cake crumbs because cake is more fun than bread, at least in my opinion, to entice, guide, and reward your members and just set the tone for what you are doing together. What does this mean in practice? Use custom fields. Don't make them all boring. If you don't know what a custom field is, it's just a question you ask your members and it shows up on their profile, or you can make it private and only you know, right? So think of it as like, okay, a profile has their name, a little bit about them. What else do I want to have there so my members can connect? Okay. And of course, we think about things like, I'm going to ask them what their profession is. Great, super valid. I'm going to ask them what their goals are. Very valid. Don't make them all so serious. I don't care if your community is for tax accountants who want to become tax consultants. That's the most boring thing I could think of. Give them a custom field that's like, hey, what's your walk on song? What gets you hype up to do T48s? That's a tax form, maybe every day, right? Give them something fun. People aren't just one thing. They want to bring their whole selves to your community. Give them those little things to show up who they are. Favorite ice cream flavor, Asia. Yes, you are speaking my language. Mine is rum raisin. Yes, I am 85 years old. Give badges for obvious and non-obvious things. Okay, so what I mean by that is you can give badges in a Mighty network. They show up on somebody's profile. A lot of people use them to say, hey, you completed this course. That's awesome. That is a great way to use a badge. That is an obvious way to use a badge. How about also when somebody attends their first live stream? If somebody stumbles into a little hidden Easter egg part of your Mighty network. We have that in our Mighty Team network, which is for our employees. There's a little hidden space, a little hidden lesson. And if you make it there, you get the Easter egg badge or the adventurer badge, right? These little moments of just surprise and delight can go a long way. Get a member's face with a pop-up. Tom showed you this. If you spend any time around me in my automations workshops, you know I love our pop-up. I love the confetti. One way to do it is to think about, okay, I'm going to award a badge when somebody finishes the course. What about when they finish their first lesson? What about when they take that first step? If you're not going to have courses in your Mighty Network, what about when they post their first comment? Just a little thing. What if when somebody posts their first comment, you make a BFD out of it, a big freaking deal with a pop-up confetti, and you're like, awesome, dude, you did it. That's fun. That is different from anywhere else on the internet, and people respond to it. And then get in their DMs with a message. This is another way you can use automations. And again, these are not things you have to start doing out of the gate. You can automate this, you can just do it manually. Check in with people and say, hey, what's the most fun you're having in this community right now? How can we make it better? Be in their DMs to kind of help guide them and let them guide you. It's a conversation. Whenever you're using a DM, especially if you're automating it, I got a lot of automated DMs out there. I always make it the start of a conversation. It's not just like, congratulations. It's a DM, it's a conversation with people. Laura, when they answer their first question, that's an awesome time to confettyize them. I love that. And finally, recognize your members often and aggressively. Now, for some of you, you may be like, what are you talking about recognize? We have a gamification system where you as a host get to decide, hey, these are the values that matter to us in this community. Could be whatever you want. Maybe you value, okay, we want people to be welcoming. We value people who are inspiring. We value people who are hilarious. We value people who are flexible if you're a yoga community, or mentally flexible if you're a wellness community, right? It can be whatever you want. Create those values, and then people earn points for showing up, and they can spend those points to recognize other members for embodying those values. And I see hosts out there, they're like, I made my values. I told my members about them. They're awesome. People have points, but they're not really recognizing each other. Then I turn to them, I flip it back. I say, well, host, who have you recognized lately? Right? You as a host need to be the one being like, this is what we do in this community. Young, you are fun. Angela, you are inspiring. Kelly, you are creative. Show them, model it for them, how to recognize each other, and your community gets that much stronger. And the values can be whatever you want. We have some great ones being shared in the chat. I will tell you the top community, we just got this data. The top community on Mighty using recognitions, I think they have had over 3,000 recognitions between members, is actually a motocross community. A motocross community. It's awesome. It's fun. And it is applicable to any single type of community that you want to run. Young has not yet received the fun recognition. Young, we're going to change that. We're going to change that today. So these are your principles. Principle number 1, fewer places to go for a richer experience. Principle number 2, clarity is more important than completeness. This is your setup. This is your setup. We are going to walk you through it in the challenge. We're going to give you the exact things you can do, but keep these in mind and you will be set up well. Then for engagement, your ideal member wants you to bother them. Put it on a Post-it note. For real. Put it on a Post-it note, stick it on your wall, and just remember when you're like, should I notify all? I want you to hear me. I want you to hear me being like, yes, do it. Designed for delight, not just direction. Think about those little cake crumbs. Who can I message today? What question can I post? Just to kind of add a little delight in the community and keep people moving forward. Now, that could all sound great. And you're like, I don't have enough ideas, especially on those last 2, Jane. Like, I'm in it on the structure because that's keeping it simple. But how do I brainstorm these ways to like add delight, my polls and questions, my badges? How do I think of these ideas? I got you. Okay. 3 tools to know. 3 tools to know. And this is how I use this kind of AI. I'm not using AI to write like my cold sales emails. I'm using AI to be a brainstorming partner when Kyle won't respond to my Slacks. This is what's great for. I'm just riffing with it. And there are 3 tools I want you to know. Okay. ChatGPT, Claude, whatever your LLM of choice is. My computer's going to go to sleep, y'all. So let's fix this. Okay. All right. Am I still with you? Okay. Okay. I'm going to present again. Sorry, Carolyn. I've been going live too much. All right, we're back online. Your LLM of choice, that's what you can use to brainstorm. And it is endless. It is 24/7. You can organize it into projects. I got a lot going on in mind as I'm looking at these different Mighty networks, and is a very effective tool. If you're like, I don't know about that world, does Mighty have anything I can use? Guess what? We do. We have our People Magic GPT and our co-host. This is the difference. The People Magic GPT fed with public info and private stuff from Mighty. Docs, data, secret special sauce. That is available whether you're in a Mighty network, whether you're not, whether you're a Mighty host, whether you're not. It is free and easy on the internet. We can share the link to it. Then once you're in your Mighty network, when you start your plan, your community plan, when you do the offer, you have chat with co-host. Co-host is our tool. It's in your Mighty network. It's in the product. It knows what plan you're on. It knows you're on the community plan. It knows what your big purpose is. And it has the same data as the People Magic GPT. So it's in your network for easy reference right there. And yes, it can totally answer questions about, hey, how do I create a badge? How do I create a tag? But it also can be like, hey, co-host, what kind of badges could I create? What kind of fun custom fields could I think about adding? It can help you with the strategy piece, not just the functionality of a Mighty network. So while I would love, I mean this sincerely, while I would love to sit one on one with all of you and like brainstorm with you for hours about your Mighty network, unfortunately, we can't do that. But you have these tools that will never get tired, that will be there for you. And even in your Mighty network directly, should you wish it. All right, folks. And one more thing, just on top of that, for our offer, is that if you're like, great, I have these tools, but I don't know what to ask them, we got you with People Magic prompts. We've talked about this. It's a bonus with the offer. It's typically $349. You will get access for free, and it gives you all the prompts to take to co-host the GPT wherever you want to go and to brainstorm about how to make your community unstoppable. And so you will have access to that with the offer. And with that, maybe Darrell wants to come on up. We got a few minutes left for questions. Hopefully, did I deliver on being the most useful session today? Okay,
Hi,
I'm
Jane.
waiting for the reviews to come in, Darrell. Did I do it? Door.
I love all the tools there at the end. It's like some of these tools are out of this world.
It's some
So
good stuff. You guys, this was such a powerful presentation that my computer lost power. That's how epic it was.
you literally broke the computer.
I broke my ring light. I'm in the dark. It's all right. All right. 5 stars from Angela. She's a paid plant, but I will take it. This was
Well, you
awesome.
got an A plus 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 plus, which is way better than an A plus.
Great. Graded on a curve, maybe, but still
I like it.
awesome.
How many communities can you have with a subscription? That was a question that just came through in the chat.
Yeah, you can have one community. So every Mighty network is its own world. So actually, this is a great thing to address because you might be like, well, I have an account with Mighty Community. I'm a member of Mighty Community, which is our free community for any community builder. How come that's not the same account for this new Mighty network I want to start? It is by design. Every Mighty network, it's yours. It's your world. So if somebody's a member of 5 Mighty networks, they can show up in each one differently. If you want to have, you're like, well, my community is for like 3 different types of ideal member. I would totally encourage you to think about which one has the strongest transition, which one am I most drawn to right now, and start there. You can always expand who a community's for, but you want to really dial it in at the start and focus on one.
Can you have different tiers of subscription though? So you could have like different spaces that you give to different groups of people.
Yes, you can. You can set it up pretty much any permutation. And as Tom showed, you could even have kind of a limited experience and then bring people into a full membership experience. I encourage if you're just starting out, start with one simple tier, one simple offering. But I think somebody, maybe Gina shared in the chat, ultimately the people making the most money on Mighty, which may or may not be a goal of yours, are people who do paid plus paid. So they have a membership at the front door. And then as people are in, they're like, hey, you should take this extra course, or I want to upsell you into this mastermind. We have a special event series, and they kind of layer it in like that.
Awesome. What other questions do you have for Jane from this session? Just drop them in the chat, and we'll take a couple more minutes to get on some questions. And just, yeah, go ahead and
I,
drop them
I
in the chat.
I wanna jump on what Sue says. It's not a question, but I think it's an important point to bring up. She says, "I'm gonna go in and prune my dead hubs." It took me a second to know what you meant, Sue, but then I got it. And I just wanna say, if you are feeling like, "Oh my gosh, I built this thing and now I do wanna trim it down," communities are really forgiving. I would definitely do it. Even if there's like one member in there, be like, hey, I actually think I want to consolidate. It's going to be a better experience. Like, do not feel like your community is set in stone because I promise you, however you launch, you will change it eventually. That's the beauty of it. It's going to evolve. So we are not chiseling our mighty networks into a stone tablet here.
Yeah. A couple questions that are easy for us. Tia says, will you move me over from membership.io? Absolutely, Tia. You have my email address, Tia. Just shoot me an email
Yeah.
and we'll get you taken care of. And then does the $199 offer end today? It does not end today, but it ends on Monday. So you've got a couple of days to think about it. But frankly, I don't even know what you're thinking about. $199 for
Come
your
on,
whole
dude.
first year. You get the course, you get the challenge, you get 3 months of creator masterminds for free. All of that for $199. That gives you a whole year to be a part of our community, the 14-day challenge. Jane, how many people are in the Mighty community?
Oh my gosh, we have over 100,000 people in Mighty Community. We also so if you're in Mighty Community now, we have over 100,000 people in there. We also have a subgroup, just like we were talking about tiers, of people who are on our community courses and business plans where our hosts can post and talk with each other. So once you're through the challenge, it's not like, well, I did the challenge, Maya was really helpful, and now I have nowhere to go. Water's warm. You're gonna have mighty hosts to help you keep iterating and learning and growing and sharing. It's gonna be awesome.
Amazing. Yep, and you can find the link right under this video if you're on the web page. Just scroll down, there'll be a link to get set up. It'll take you right to the spot where you can get signed up for $199. Yeah, Tia, 100,000 people in the Mighty community. We're no joke over here. We're helping lots of people do their thing. This has been great. This has been great, Jane. Somebody's asking, what is Creator Masterminds?
Ooh, you take
And
that one, Darrell, please.
yeah, this is fun. We have this is not even launched yet. It's not even gonna be officially launched until July. I think it's July 8th, Tuesday, July 8th. But we are creating a community for creators. And we know that creators have a unique journey. If you are a creator and you've ever tried to explain to your family exactly what it is that you do, you maybe get a blank stare, or if you ever wanted to create a business on social media, and you just don't understand, or people just don't understand. Like, we're creating a community for people like you, where you can get a weekly insight and more content exactly like we're doing here at the summit every single week inside of Creator Masterminds. It's launching publicly on July 8th, but if you sign up for the $199 offer, you're going to get 3 months of Creator Masterminds absolutely for free, where you can be in community with other people who are building their business as a creator. And so, really excited about that. There's going to be all kinds of amazing guests, all kinds of great insights, and even the opportunity to get inside of smaller groups with folks who are at the same stage in your journey, to learn from them and to grow alongside them as well. So, if you sign up for that $199 offer, you'll get 3 months of that for free.
Yes.
Jane, any final thoughts here? We're about to go into 2 sessions that I'm really excited about. We're going to
Yeah.
do a couple of short sessions with folks who are actually mighty hosts, and have them tell you their story of building their community, building their memberships, and what it's been like from them. So that we're not just having mighty people all day long telling you about mighty, but having a couple of folks who've actually done the work and built something on mighty and tell their stories a little bit. So I'm excited for that next. But
It's gonna
uh,
be rad.
any final thoughts before we close up your session here, which we won't tell Gina, but I think was the best session of the day.
Yes. Goal achieved. My final thought is, look, there is no shortage of awesome ideas and inspiration, and I find that super exciting, but I also sometimes even myself, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like okay, I need to go back to the drawing board to like incorporate that. I'm sure in the next sessions, you're going to hear from these real hosts and you'll be like, oh my gosh, well, I need to do that or I need to do that. Start simple, the best gift you can give yourself. And I think people who were in past summits, they've heard me say this before, is to start, see what works, iterate and learn because you're going to change it anyway. Start simple and go from there. You will thank yourself in a year because you'll be in a really different spot.
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Jane, thanks for being here. We are going to say goodbye to you. Appreciate all of your insight, taking us through all your 4 steps here.
Awesome.